All right, when we're using watercolors, you're gonna wanna use a synthetic brush or a watercolor brush. I only have in my brushes hog hair brushes, which are quite a bit more rough and they're stiff. These are not great watercolor brushes. They'll work, but they're not great. So if you see a brush like this, it's kind of splayed and it's kind of rough, that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for this kind of brush. This is synthetic. It uses a plastic to be able to create these bristles, and they are just a little bit more smooth when it comes to using the watercolor. So next step I'm going to do, don't do this on top of your artwork like I am. Always move your artwork out of the way. We're going to pour a little bit of water slowly into each of these spots. Then we're going to get our paintbrush wet, and we're going to get the color that we want wet. You can get them all wet if you want, but mostly just whatever color you're going to be using. This one has a lot of orange, so I'm going to use it. I'm just going to swirl it around and start loading up one of these with that color. With watercolor, you need lots and lots of water. You want it to be watered down. You don't want it to be dry. You don't want a solid color. You want it to be transparent or see-through. Opaque means you can't see through it. If we want an opaque color, we'll use acrylic paints. However, we really like this transparent look that can look like this, where it's soft and it layers well and you can see through it. It's kind of like glass. So I'm gonna load a lot of pigment into this water. I wanna have a lot of pigment, but I don't want to have it to be dry. I want it to be very wet. So it's watered down. All right, now that I have all this pigment in this section, I'm going to load my brush with water, pick up some of that pigment, and I'm going to start to paint this. I want to work kind of quickly, get it working only from this puddle, not coming back to the paint cake right here, only working from the puddle of color that I made. When I get to the edge, I'm going to press my paintbrush down, and that splays the bristles out and allows me to keep control of this line, which allows me to pull right across that line. Once I get across that line, I can work quite a bit more quickly. Oh, see, I picked up some dry paint right here of, looks like red. So now that's creating some streaks in my color. It's not good. So I'm gonna splay my bristles, pull closer to that line with those kind of pressed down. And you can see how far these are going like that. That allows me to get that smooth edge. And then I'm simply going to paint everything else in. While it's still wet, I'm working quickly, using lots of water, filling in this whole section. Then I'm gonna move to the next section here. I'm just gonna use the same color. If it looks like I'm running out of water or my paint's getting low, well then add more. Or you can always make one in the next little bin. So I'm going to splay my bristles. I'm going to come around.
Mr. Backer?
Hold on.
Okay.
Getting the edges, and then I'm getting more. I'm pulling it inwards like this. Okay, it is your turn. You're going to need a paintbrush that is not a hog hair brush. You're gonna need a clean cup of water. It'd be best if each table has 2 cups, one that is a dirty cup of water, and one that's a clean cup of water. And then, and then the paint cakes. So up there on the black cabinet, there are the paint cakes, cups that you'll have to put fresh water in, paint brushes. Look for one that is not a hog hair.